Hello everybody, this is Sports Guy Ron. I'm here with a video that I've talked about a couple of times lead in my recap videos and in my preview videos about the Cleveland Browns. We're going to go over a brief history, and we're going to talk about what's happened and what's going to happen, and the issues that this team has had and still has and will continue to have unless things change. So, brief history. The owners, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, they bought the team in August of 2012. Their record, 2013 to the present, I don't count 2012 because they took over in August right before the season started, so I don't really include that season in their record, so to speak. Their record is 70, 135, and 1. Then you have Paul DePodesta, the chief strategy officer. What that means, I have no idea. They never explained it. They never really gave any details about it. He didn't work full-time in Cleveland. I can't tell you what he didn't do, what he was responsible for, what he wasn't responsible for. They always wanted it that way. He now has recently left. He's taken a job with the Colorado Rockies back in baseball. If you remember, Paul Podesta is the Moneyball guy. If you've seen the movie with Brad Pitt, he's the Peter Brand character is based on Paul DePodesta that Jonah Hill played in that movie. He's, the Moneyball strategy of, not having to spend so much money and trying to getting their lineup good. And it's all about runs and not home runs, and how you get the runs isn't important, etc., etc. The record, while he has been here, he was hired in January 5th of 2016. The record, 56, 101, and 1. I'm including loss that they've taken since he's announced that he's leaving, because as chief strategy officer, he was responsible apparently for some strategy for this season, which he's responsible for. So he gets the losses as far as I'm concerned on his record. So 56, 101, and 1. There's kind of a theme here. If you notice, it's almost 2-1 losses for the owner and for DePodesta. Now, GM Andrew Berry, he was hired January 28th, 2020. That's an important date. We'll touch on it in a little bit. His record since he has been here, 42-52. That's quite a bit better than the owner and Paul DePodesta. I just really would like to point that out. So, I mean, that's a kind of a plus in his column. 1-2 in the playoffs. Okay, so that's his record. The head coach, Kevin Stefanski, he was hired January 13th, 2020. This is why I made that point about Andrew Berry. Kevin Stefanski was actually hired 15 days before Andrew Berry was officially hired. But they are recognized generally as being tied together because of, they came in basically at the same time. So Stefanski's record's also 42-52, 1-2 in the playoffs. I have an asterisk there. If you remember, their one win in the playoffs was 2020. That was the COVID season. Stefanski actually, for the first playoff game, was home in his basement. So he didn't actually coach. Mike Prefer did. He was the, I believe he was special teams coach, and he coached the game. Now, I give credit Kevin Stefanski, it was his coaching staff. I don't have any problem giving him the credit. I only put that asterisk there because people that you hear talk about Kevin Stefanski in a positive or a negative light, they always bring up that game that he did or did not coach, that, whether he coached it or helped or whatever, he had COVID. I don't know. You decide how you want to, judge that, but it was his staff. So the records since 2016, when Paul DePodesta was hired. In 2016, 1-15. In 2017, 0-16. Yes, that was his plan, apparently, to get so bad that they had the first draft pick, the high draft picks. Okay, 2018, 7-8-1. Okay, now this was with John Dorsey as the general manager. If you remember, he was the one that selected Baker Mayfield. 2019, they were 6-10. 2020, they were 11-5. That was the COVID season, Kevin Stefanski's first year. He won Coach of the Year. They went 11-5. That was actually third in the division that year behind Pittsburgh and Baltimore, I believe. They beat Pittsburgh in the wild card at Pittsburgh. If you remember that game, that was the game where Marquise Pouncey hiked the ball over Ben Roethlisberger's head on the very first play, and the Browns recovered it for a touchdown, and it was an avalanche after that of mistakes, and Browns were way up. Pittsburgh came back, but not far enough to get the victory. Then they went on to Kansas City, a game that went down to the end of the game against Kansas City. They knocked Pat Mahomes out of that game, and Chad Henne on 4th and 1, they gave it to Tyreek Hill on a jet sweep, and he got the first down, so they were able to run out the clock. So that was, they were close then. 2021, Baker Mayfield got injured. They took a step back. There were 8-9 that year. If you remember that year, that's in the off season where they went after and traded for Deshaun Watson. After Mayfield had gotten hurt, there was some angst going on between him and the organization. It's never really been completely hashed out whether it was him and Kevin Stefanski, if the ownership group meddled in this decision, that they didn't think Baker Mayfield was good enough to get them to where they wanted to go to take the next step. I don't know. No one really knows. It's been talked about. Everybody has a different kind of sort of idea of that. But, I don't know. But anyways, they were 7-10 in 2022. 2023, Watson got hurt again. He got hurt. Joe Flacco, that was the Joe Flacco year when he came in late after all their quarterbacks got hurt, led them on a run. They finished 11-6. They lost to Houston in the first wild card game. 2024, they fell back to 3-14. Watson got hurt again, and they just had a bad season. So far in 2025, Watson's still recovering from the Achilles. The Browns are 2-8. And the next part of what we're going to discuss is I'm going to go to the second board, and we're going to discuss Andrew Berry and his draft picks, the direction of the team, and where I think it goes from here. Okay, this is Andrew Berry's resume as far as I'm concerned. The free agency has been an up and down kind of thing. It really hasn't made a big difference either way. So that's my opinion on it. I didn't even put it on the board because the free agents they've brought in have mostly disappointed. There hasn't been a whole lot going on with that really makes a difference. So March 20th, 2022, that was when they made the Deshaun Watson trade. They gave him all that guaranteed money, over $200 million. They've traded for Watson and a 6th-round pick in 2024. They sent to Houston first-round picks in 2022, 2023, 2024, third-round picks in 2023 and 2024, and a 4th-round pick in 2022. So you're talking 6 high picks, which obviously this situation, Baker Mayfield was not happy. He was traded on July 6th, 2022. Traded conditional 5th-round pick to Carolina. It had a condition where it could have been a 4th-round pick if he played like 70% of the snaps for Carolina that year, which he didn't. He was eventually released, went to the Rams, and then was signed as a free agent the next season in Tampa Bay. So we're looking at the draft picks from Andrew Berry, 2020 draft. Tackle Jed Wills. Injuries, disappointment, poor play, very average tackle, drafted in the top 10. Remember Tristan Wirfs, probably the best tackle in the game right now, if it's not Penei Sewell. He was drafted a few picks after him. They could have drafted Tristan Wirfs. Instead, they drafted Jed Wills. Grant Delpit, safety. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Got to give that a positive, okay? Jordan Elliott has bounced around after leaving Cleveland. I think he's in San Francisco now. He's just a rotation guy on the defensive line. Jacob Phillips was injured a lot. He's, I think, out of the league. Harrison Bryant is bouncing around at the end of rosters. Nick Harris, Donovan Peoples-Jones, roster filler guys, and have been for a while. 2021 draft, first round pick, Greg Newsome, cornerback. Pretty good player, a little underwhelming. Was a big part of the trade. They just traded to Jacksonville for Tyson Campbell, who's now signed for the next 3 years. So, pretty positive draft pick. The second round pick, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. This is an unfortunate thing. He's been out hurt. No one's sure if he'll ever be able to play again. He was playing at a Pro Bowl level. He was a great draft pick, but unfortunately, injuries, that happens sometimes. Third round pick, wide receiver Anthony Schwartz, complete bust. Fourth round, we have James Hudson, Tommy Togiai. They're to bottom of the roster players at other places now. Tony Fields has bounced around as a linebacker, fifth rounder. Richard LeCounte, fifth round safety, out of the league. Demetric Felton bounced around a little bit. I don't even know if he's on the bottom of a roster right now at the sixth round. So, pretty not much helping out the Browns, as you can see. We've got one guy really left, and then one guy that's kind of left. He was traded, and there's another guy replacing him. 2022 draft. Now, this is where they don't have their top picks because of the Watson trade. Cornerback Martin Emerson, third round pick. Very good pick. He's a very good player when he's healthy. He's hurt again. He's out for the season, but a very good player on defense. Andrew Berry's problem is not defensive picks. The next third round pick that year, Alex Wright, defensive end, played very well. He's also out for the season. He had an injury. He was just signed today to a 3-year contract extension for $33 million. Honestly, my honest take, deserves it. Plays very well opposite Myles Garrett. The Browns' defense, their defensive line specifically, not their problem. David Bell, third rounder, wide receiver from Purdue. He got hurt, then had an off-field issue with a surgery. He retired. That happens, but he wasn't a big player when he was here. Perion Winfrey, defensive tackle, fourth round. Cade York, kicker, fourth round. Fifth round, Jerome Ford, running back. Decent guy. He makes some plays. He can bust one once in a while. He's a roster. He should definitely be on a roster. He could be your backup running back. He can fill in a pinch. Probably his best pick on the offense to date so far. Michael Woods, sixth round wide receiver. He's been cut. Isaiah Thomas and Dawson Deaton. Dawson Deaton was a center. He's not around anymore. Isaiah Thomas, he's an edge player. He's not around anymore. So not much from that draft except couple defenders. 2023 draft, third round pick, wide receiver Cedric Tillman. He's their second receiver. He's had injury problems with a concussion. He's just up and down, not anything to write home about. In a perfect world, he'd be a fourth receiver, my opinion. Third rounder, defensive tackle Siaki Ika. He might be on somebody's backup list. I have no idea about that, but he was nothing here in Cleveland. Fourth round, offensive tackle DeJuan Jones. Could be a good pick for Barry, but he can't stay healthy. He can play tackle. He could be the left tackle if he could stay healthy, but he can't. He hasn't yet, and he hasn't shown that he can. He did lose weight. He did get in better shape. Unfortunately, he got hurt again. We'll have to see about Budden. That one's kind of incomplete. Fourth round, Isaiah McGuire, defensive end. Okay, he's a good player. He's a rotation player with Alex Wright on the other side of Myles Garrett on the other side of the line. He's a good player, solid player. No complaints about that. 5th round quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was there for a while. He made a few starts, won a game or two here or there. Wasn't very good. Was traded for Kenny Pickett to the Eagles in the offseason 2025. I don't even know if he's still there. He might be on somebody's practice squad. Cam Mitchell, Luke Whippler, is he the center of the future? Possibly. There's some good things shown in the preseason. I'm not sure about that. He doesn't start. He's a backup. So that draft kind of hit or miss, but better on the defensive side. 2024, 2nd round pick, defensive tackle Mike Hall. He's had injuries. He worked himself back this year from a knee injury. He's just started to get back onto the fields, made a couple plays. He had off-season, off-the-field issues, had a charge of domestic battery. It was dropped, blah, 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 suspended, the whole thing. Zach Zinter, guard, 3rd round. He is on the roster. He's always in the reserves. He doesn't suit up for the games. I don't see that he's really seems to be in their plans long term, but we'll see. All the rest of their players, Jamari Thrash, Nathaniel Watson, Miles Harden does play some at cornerback. He's useful. Defensive tackle Jawan Briggs was traded before the start of the season. He plays for someone else now. So not a whole lot from that draft, except the better part of that is on the defensive side. 2025, we have a very good draft, but of course, mostly on the defensive side. 1st round pick, they traded with Jacksonville, the Travis Hunter trade. Yes, got Mason Graham. He's really picked it up lately. He's deserving of looking as part of their core to move forward with. He's very strong. He's played great lately, but he does have a lot of help around him. The 2nd round pick, Carson Schlesinger. I think he's the now betting favorite as far as Vegas for the Defensive Player of the Year, rookie. He's played great. He was just named this week as the Player of the Week on the defense, the rookie. So he's been fantastic. Quinshon Judkins, another guy, 2nd round pick, running back. He's had some issues. Some of those issues off the field, had a suspension, wasn't signed right away, came back. He's been good. He looks like a good running back. I think he's part of the solution going forward as long as he can stay out of trouble, which he was never had any trouble before that. We'll see. 3rd round pick, tight end Harold Fannin. He's the tight end of the future. David Njoku, I believe his contract's up. I don't think he'll be back because the Browns have serious cap issues because of the Watson contract. So Fannin will be likely the starter at tight end. They also picked 3rd round quarterback Dylan Gabriel. As much as they want to try to tell us different, that was a reach. He looks like maybe he could be a backup in the league for a long time. I don't think he's starting material. He does not push the ball down the field. He's missed reads. They tell us that he was the most quarterback, he was ready to step in, that he reads everything great, that he does, he's like a computer out there. Things I've seen, he misses guys that are open. He has accuracy issues, which was supposed to be a strength. I don't see it. Plus he's short. The AFC North is not someplace to be for a short quarterback. It's not the right division for that. It's one thing in the NFC West, although I would say, that's not even either. I mean, with San Francisco, I don't want to short shift it, but the AFC North has been a running division, and you want a bigger, stronger team, and I don't think Dylan Gabriel fits here. 4th round, Dylan Sampson, running back Tennessee. Showed some flashes. He's tiny. I don't think he really belongs in this division either. I'm not sure about the pick, especially with Judkins, but he could be, I think he has a chance to be a useful player. The pick everybody talks about, 5th round, quarterback Shedeur Sanders. He's likely the starter for at least a few weeks until Gabriel comes back. I don't know how that's going to work itself out. We'll see. He's going up against the Raiders this week. He's probably got way more upside than Gabriel does. I think he looks more like an NFL quarterback and what limited I've seen of him. He has a lot of issues. I don't think Kevin Stefanski at all has done anything wrong in his development of Sanders. I think the backup quarterback, when you have Gabriel starting as a rookie, he should be getting all the reps in practice. He's the one going out on the field. It's not unlike anything else. We've had Luke McCown and Brian Hoyer, 2 former backup quarterbacks, say they didn't get reps other than the way that Sanders is getting them, and that's as doing the scout team, running the scout team in practice, and then after practice drills. That's the way it's done. Stefanski's not trying to do anything to hurt Sanders. That what's being done is a normal thing. I think they want to bring him along slowly. He has a long way to go on some of the mechanical issues of being a quarterback, and that's it. So, in summary of all of this, I think the Browns need to, at the end of the year, move on from Andrew Berry. Yes, he can draft defensive players. Yes, his 2025 draft was a much improved draft. It looks like a very good draft. Even a pretty decent draft on the running back and tight end side. But unfortunately, his mistakes are he cannot draft quarterbacks, he cannot draft offensive linemen, and he cannot draft wide receivers. And that's what you need in this league to be able to do to run an offense. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If your offense cannot score points, it cannot move the ball, it cannot stay on the field, and it cannot give your defense rest. When you're relying on your defense to score points to be able to have a chance to win, like the Cleveland Browns are, you do not win a lot of games. As far as Kevin Stefanski goes, I think he can be a good quarterback. He's shown in 2 seasons when he got good quarterback play, the teams went to the playoffs. I think he can do it. The question is that the real thing, or is there a loss of the message going on the offensive side to where, he's not successful anymore here? Does he need a new change of scenery for him? A new voice in the Browns room? That's the question. My gut feeling is they'll both be gone. My opinion is Barry definitely should be gone. Stefanski, I'm more 50-50 on. There's a lot of things I like about what he does, but we'll see. So that's my discussion of the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be in for a long season next year in 2026 as well. They're up against the salary cap. They have, I think, their top 6 offensive linemen are free agents. Joel Bitonio, their guard, their longtime Pro Bowl guard, is likely retiring. Everyone else is up. So they're going to have to replace a whole offensive line. They're going to have to replace receivers. And they don't have a lot of money to spend. So we'll see what happens. But they're going to be a roster that's probably 50% rookies or first or second year players next season, at least. So that's not a winning recipe. So it's going to take some time here. But I'm thinking that if they're going to be doing that, they might be looking for different leadership. So we'll see about that. Well, I hope you found some good information about this. If you did, like or subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And I hope you have a good week. Talk to you later.